To BBC News at 6. Thousands of students have clashed with police at Westminster today during a mass demonstration against plans to increase university tuition fees in England. Some protesters converged on the building where the Conservative Party has its main offices, setting fire to placards and some of them smashing windows.
The higher you build your barriers, the taller I become. The farther you take my rights away, the faster I will run.
No education cuts!
You can deny me, you can decide to turn your face away.
I think economically it's going to cripple students. The ones who can't afford are just eventually not going to be able to afford to come to university at all. I mean, the basic student at the moment has to pay £3,000 a term. Increasing that to £9,000 means you'd have to find £6,000 from potentially a kind of part-time job, which would mean you'd be working at least 20 hours a week, on top of the fact that you probably need to do about 30 hours of tuition work a week as well, so it's just physically impossible.
The more you refuse to hear my voice, the louder I will sing. You hide behind walls of Jericho, the lies will come tumbling. Deny my place and time, you swap any road so long.
My name's Frances O'Grady. I'm here on behalf of the whole TUC that represents unions who have between them nearly 7 million members. So we're here on behalf of working people to show our support and solidarity with students and with the lecturers union and all the support staff in colleges and universities who are fighting these unnecessary, these vicious, these fundamentally unfair cuts.
Well, obviously I've got a personal opinion about it, which coincides more or less with my position as an elected trade union representative for the UCU, the University and Colleges Union, which represents academic staff in British universities and colleges. And basically we're absolutely opposed to it. This is a measure which is going to have devastating effects for future students. It's going to have devastating effects on universities. It's going to affect our members, it's going to affect the quality of education that we provide, and I think it's also got much wider social effects, which are essentially the question I would ask if David Cameron on it Clegg was sat in front of me is, what kind of society is it that doesn't fund the arts? What kind of society is it that doesn't fund creative thinking?
Today in the Commons, Labour sensed his weakness. Their own policy is still in development, but that didn't stop them firing no fewer than 12 questions at the Lib Dem leader.
He's pulling the plug on public funding and dumping the cost onto students. Isn't that why he's betraying his promise on tuition fees?
She agrees, we all agree across all sides of this House, that graduates should make some contribution for the benefit of going to university. The question is how? We have a progressive plan, she has no plan whatsoever.
I tell you, when the Lib Dems come looking for our votes, they better take a good hard look in the mirror before they ask us to support them.
I'm Philippa Whittaker, I'm Senior Lecturer in Accounting at Salford University. One of my sons was on the demonstration, he's reading classics. He said in 5 years' time he wouldn't have dared to do his degree, which he loves, and he said there may well probably be no classics departments left. We have a new dark age because of these cuts. It's horrible.
My opinion is that the government shouldn't put the fees up to £9,000. We already pay a lot as it is at £3,500. To increase that threefold is just ridiculous. You know, it's an amount of debt that nobody should have as a graduate at the age of 21 or whatever age you actually go into university at. It is just ridiculous, it's too much. And the government shouldn't sort of like have this thing that we're all in this together, therefore we'll cut education. They shouldn't do it.
The faster I will run.
It's going to create a class system within education where only the rich can actually afford to go to university as opposed to those who can't.
The students have got a point, so I absolutely salute what the students have done so far. It hasn't been enough to change the government's mind. It's been enough to take away most of the Lib Dems, more than half of the Lib Dems votes in Parliament went either against or abstained, so that shows we've had a big effect already. The issue isn't finished yet. Just because they've got a vote through Parliament to raise fees in principle, they've still got a white paper to get through, they've still got a lot of detail, you know, to explain.
It's going to affect it badly. You know, you're going to have this two-tier situation where the top universities are actually going to be there quite happy, sort of like raking in the money effectively, whereas like the other institutions are really going to struggle. A lot of them are actually going to sort of find themselves financially difficult, so that they're going to have to close, or the services that they provide are actually going to go down. So you're going to have this sort of system where if you pay for the best, then you're going to get the best, but if you can't pay for the best, then you're not going to get that.
Something inside so strong. Brothers and sisters, when they insist we're just not good enough.
During the election, Lib Dems promised not to raise fees, including their leader.
To raise the cap on tuition fees is wrong. We will resist, vote against, campaign against any lifting of...
After effects is probably unknown for a while. There's going to be sort of like a long transition period where people are going to sort of like figure out if they actually want to go to university, if they can afford it, what course they want to do, which is then going to sort of like affect jobs effectively. And it's just going to have this thing where no one's going to know exactly what's going to happen until it actually does.
Alright Charles, how you doing, mate?
En route to a black tie gala evening, the scene was anything but civilised. The Prince of Wales and the Duchess of Cornwall found themselves right in the middle of the student protests. Moments later, to their Royal Highnesses' horror, the car was attacked.
I think not everybody knew, but the 10-15 people that did know were trying to attack the vehicle, were trying to break the window, but everything was bouncing off. I believe the windows are protected, and then the paint was being thrown at it. People were trying to get inside the vehicle at one point, and the couple inside that looked absolutely terrified. It was absolutely shocking scenes.
To be honest, I feel this is the right and professional way to go about this sort of demonstration. It is non-violent and it gets our point across. It also shows our commitment and solidarity as a student population, as well as the future of this country, and also shows our creative side, which is quite ironic since the government is actually cutting the funding to the arts. So basically it's going to cut a lot of people's futures, and I do feel this is the best way to go about it.
It's such a drastic measure. It is really unprecedented. You know, no other advanced economy does this. No other country, even some of the countries that are in deep financial trouble at the moment, Ireland, Spain, Portugal, they're not making these kind of cuts.
From £6,900 is a really negative thing. I think that socially it probably means that those from a lower economic background are more likely not to go to university because they see it as not being worth it. And in terms of the long term, with the economy the way it is, it's definitely a bad thing, because otherwise we're unlikely to be producing high calibre students, and a lot of them that will be able to turn around the crisis we face at the moment.
The faster I will run, you can deny me, you can decide to turn your face away. No matter, 'cause there's something inside so strong. I know that I can make it, though you're doing me wrong so wrong. Thought that my pride was gone.
Just that you got to make your voice heard, but do it in a non-violent way. If you do violence, it's going to detract from your statement. Just do it. Sit down somewhere, make a roadblock. Don't let anyone into unis until they take these cuts back.
Debts of 18,000 just for the fees alone, let alone the cost of living and the cost of maintaining yourself while you study. And they say, you know, oh, you won't have to pay it back until you're earning 21,000, but, you know, that's essentially the same situation as someone with a mortgage. You know, you won't have to pay it back, but eventually you do. And that kind of figure of £30,000-40,000 towering over someone from a low-income background before they even make the decision to go into higher education or not, you know, is going to put many students off.
You're finally making us stand, and it's like you're punching us in the face and knocking us down. So please don't. I think you should really take a look into it rather than just getting ready to cut it out and not realising what we're getting from it and how important it is to us.
Who want to raise the tuition fees, and then you've got the Lib Dems saying that they want to scrap the tuition fees.
Being at this institution has got me involved in the Students' Union side of things, and now I'm a full-time officer at the Students' Union, and I would never have got that job and the passion for education. What are you doing? Seriously, what are you doing to us?
You see the photograph of me out there? I'll end up on the floor. Do you get that?
When we know better, just look 'em in the eyes and say, we're gonna do it